Hello everyone and welcome to the Scoop held by Saddleback College in Mission Viejo. My name is Kevin Perry and I will be your host. Today we'll be joining a local potter as they detail their experience, cultivating their talents, looking at the impact of COVID-19 around the globe, experiencing a British take on American fast food, making some homemade versions of beloved Disneyland food, taking a deep dive into the history of the Grateful Dead, and getting in touch with local agriculture. So stay tuned. Over the pandemic, many people decided to take up new hobbies. Stuck at home, Maddie, a native Orange County potter, took matters into her own hands and developed a further skill. As a potter, she takes simple things and creates art anyone can enjoy.
Maddie Marchand is a 19-year-old potter based in Rancho Santa Margarita, California. She grew up in a household encouraged to take part in arts and crafts. Her crafty upbringing continued up throughout high school. Having been a baker, quilter, and a painter, she was eager to learn more about what the world of art had to offer. Her curiosity naturally inclined her to find new forms of art she had not yet discovered, such as pottery.
I've always wondered how they've made it, because you see all these cool, the Greek pottery, and then you've seen, the ones at stores, and you're like, how do they make that? And then, so I kind of, at high school, they have a class, so I was just I wonder if that'd be fun. So I took it, and I got obsessed.
Unlike the other students in her class who enrolled to fill credits, Maddie discovered a passion for the art of pottery like none other. When it comes to designing a piece, depending on the item of choice or preference, it can take several weeks, though time can vary depending on the item requested. Potters must take into account any mishaps, such as projects exploding, not turning out as planned, or simply the piece in itself may be too complicated. Take into consideration Maddie's most complicated piece she completed in high school, the donut pitcher.
It wouldn't come off the wheel. It was stuck for a week. We were debating blow drying it because it wouldn't come off. Eventually did come off, and I was really grateful, and we were cheering and stuff because it was took forever. But it's not perfect, but it's one that I worked really hard on because it took a lot more effort than most of my other projects.
Unable to continue taking ceramics at school physically, she embraced the DIY lifestyle she grew up with and began crafting from home. Her current niche lies within making functional pieces of pottery for any and everyone interested in her work.
Right now I really like making mugs because those are the most practical ones you can use, but I also like making little sculptures and figurines.
Engulfed with a surplus of mugs and other forms of pottery, Maddie began to make her art accessible for purchase. In hopes to shed some light, locals and friends have taken the opportunity to support her independent business during these times. Maddie's hope is that although her craft may appear to be simple,
knowing who's making it and who's buying it, it's a little more personal, but it's also more fulfilling because it's helping people, and if I could do that, I would 100% do that.
After having a minor setback with her kiln, Maddie is back up and running, stacked with new glazes to experiment with. You can contact her or check out Maddie's pottery on Instagram under @mims.craft. Last year, the whole world was hit with an obstacle we really didn't see coming. COVID-19 has infected 112 million people worldwide. Although we are all tackling this together, each country has its own way with dealing with this pandemic.
Hi guys, my name is Sammy. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm just going to be asking you guys a few questions about COVID in your country. So let's begin. The first question is, when COVID first began, what did your country do to tackle it? What were the rules that were set?
It was already hitting hard countries like Italy and Spain. So this country had the chance to prepare, and they knew what was coming, and they were able to go into a hard lockdown.
Nobody was allowed to step out of their houses. There were certain containment zones. We weren't allowed to order online also. We couldn't do that. Online websites won't show our location. So they put these special numbers of general stores nearby, and people from there used to come and drop all the groceries and stuff outside my door.
So some countries allowed exercise for an hour. That was not allowed here. We were just to stay in our house. To go to the shop, we had to apply for a permit, and we were only allowed to go every few days.
We cannot stay outside or go walking or that kind of activities that was not available.
You were not allowed to walk your dog. So if you live like in an apartment building, you had to stay inside with your dog. Like you have like your yard, but if you were just on the other side of the fence mowing the grass, you got arrested. It's like you were not allowed to use alcohol. You're not allowed to use cigarettes. You were not allowed to buy it. It was like forbidden.
Wow, that's crazy. I can't even imagine not being able to go out for a walk. So how did the majority of people in your country respond to these rules?
When the rules were put into place, it wasn't like, oh, can we get away with it? It was like, obey the rule, otherwise you're going to have fines and you might get kicked out. So I feel like here, especially in comparison to some other countries that I know, when rules are put in place and when they're enforced, people obey them.
Some people are, scared. Some people don't care. And another people is, okay, we have to do something to control this.
So what did your country do to help those who were impacted by the pandemic? For example, for those who struggled with their jobs or couldn't afford rent, what did your country do to help them?
Independent contractors have been getting some assistance. And also at the beginning, families with children with the ages with kids under the age of 11 were getting assistance because they had to stay at home and do homeschooling.
Government is providing aid to people who are below poverty line. For them, they have their like ration sorted. They were also given a certain amount of money to get by the day.
The government did send money. Like there was millions and rand of, put into the COVID fund. But because of corruption, it never gets to the people that need them.
And what do you think that your country could have done better or should have focused on more?
The biggest problem I feel that India faced here, at least this side faced, was corruption, because hospitals were charging a lot of money for keeping the patients.
Our online is not as good as most countries. It's like some of our children don't have internet. Most of our children don't have computers or laptops or any accessible to something. Even if you can give them internet, they don't have something to use the internet with.
Yeah, I mean, as a student myself, I'm super grateful that at least my school is doing what they can to help their students out. So last question. So how do you guys think that this pandemic has changed humanity in general?
I think those who were empathetic, even before the pandemic, perhaps became more empathetic and more helpful. And those who weren't became more self-centered.
So there was the one side that was like, yeah, I want to help people who are stuck and I want to encourage and I want to like help them, let's stick together. And then you have like the other extreme of like, why aren't people obeying the rules? You need to do this, you need to do that, listen to the government.
I do see people also being more giving, like someone helping someone else, like giving food or giving clothes or allowing people to stay with them that lost their house.
Now they are a little bit more conscious, and I think so that they appreciate what they have.
2020 was a lot of about self-reflecting, I feel. So a lot of people also suffered with mental health issues, which did affect their social abilities.
Yeah, 2020 has been an absolute crazy year. Well, that's all the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night for some of you guys, and stay safe out there.
It's a year later and we still are recovering from this pandemic. On a more positive note, vaccines are finally out. Here in California, Phase 1B just opened up. You can sign up at myturn.ca.gov to be notified if you qualify to receive the vaccine. If you do qualify in Orange County, go to athena.com to make your appointment for your vaccination. The British are coming, and they're here for our fast food. Samuel, a young British man raised in a farm in Oxford, has come to try America's unique take on takeout. Here is to the good old US of A to see if we measure up, if we have good fast food. Britain claims that it's predominantly bland, but Samuel is going to be trying some of our most iconic food. Let's see what he thinks.
This is Samuel. He's a 20-year-old British man originally from Oxford who has been training in media studies here in the United States. His goal is to become a youth pastor at a local church here in Orange County, City Harvest Church. Today, Samuel is going to be trying out some of California's favorite fast foods that Samuel never had growing up. Hamburgers. They take many forms and they are served globally in multiple countries. They were first documented to be served here in the US in a store called Lewis's Lunch in Connecticut in the 1900s. They have grown in massive popularity and are now served globally and nationally across the US. This is In and Out. They are pretty much the best burgers I've ever had in my life. This is no ordinary burger. It is very special. It is 2 patties, tomatoes, cheese, and buns, but yet there is more. Animal sauce. It's not just on the burger, it's on the fries. This sauce is made up of ketchup, mustard, vinegar, relish, sugar, melted cheese, and mayonnaise. Let's try it. Alright, here we go. Wow. They're really good. So, let's try these fries. These fries are covered in animal sauce. Deliciousness. Let's try it. I'm beyond words. So, guys, that's the best burger from In-N-Out we're gonna have. Now, we must talk Mexican. Taco Bell is famous for being a Mexican fast food giant. In 1962, founder Glenn Bell opened his very first restaurant in Downey, California. Taco Bell has now grown vastly and has 355 franchise organizations which operate over 7,000 restaurants and 40 million customers each week internationally. Enough history. Enough history. It's time to make history. It's time to eat the tacos. So, nice crunchy shell. We've got beefy, seasoned beef. We've got a little bit of lettuce, bit of cheese in there. Lord Jesus, He's good to us. This is our burrito, 5-layer burrito. You can see 5 layers, at least I can see them. Have a look. You can see those 5 layers, and while you see them, I'm gonna eat them. All right. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can taste all 5 layers. This is good. The main question we have to ask here is how much better is it than British takeaway food? And I really feel it's not just 5 times better. Really, I feel it's 10 times better. It is really 10 times better than you have ever tasted, British people. Today we have seen that America has some of the most amazing fast foods ever created.
Informative and tasty, that's the way we like it in America. Samuel will continue his training to become a youth pastor with 2 years of Bible college left to complete. He will be training at City Harvest Church in OC. Along the way, Samuel will continue discovering America's unique and delicious food. Disneyland, a place that many Southern Californians can say they thoroughly enjoy. However, with COVID-19's extreme infectiousness, the gates of the happiest place on earth were closed. Let's take a look into how a Disney fan, like myself, keeps his Disney love alive by cooking his favorite Disney recipes.
Shut down a lot of places, and for me, Disneyland definitely hurt the most. I love the ambiance, the rides, and the food. After thinking for a while, how can I go back without actually going back? I got an idea. What if I bring some of my favorite Disney foods home to me? So what I'm gonna do is simple. I'm gonna be making my 3 favorite dishes: the Safari Skewers, Jack Jack's Num Num Cookies, and the classic frozen banana, and then I'm gonna have my grandparents try them. So, let's get to cooking. Alright, we're gonna start off by making the frozen bananas. I took 3 bananas, cut them in half, peeled them, then I put a skewer through them so they kind of resemble a popsicle. Once I was done with that, I got my chocolate chips and a little bit of coconut oil. I dipped the bananas into the chocolate after putting in the microwave, set them out, and then once I had them all chocolate covered, I put it in the freezer for about an hour. So, after this, I started with the Safari Skewers, got some asparagus, cut it up into inch pieces. Then I used bacon. I don't think you're supposed to cut bacon with scissors, but I did. And you want the bacon in 2-inch pieces, and then you want to wrap it around the asparagus, skew it through the skewers. So we got about 6 of those done. We're going to take them to the grill, and at this point, they already smelled really good, and the grill just made it smell even better. I burnt myself here a lot, so be careful, be safe. But after about 8 or 9 minutes of cooking, they were ready. Took them out, put them inside. Oh my god, they smell so good. Started on the cookies, sprayed the non-stick spray, got my bowls and my measuring cups ready, took some butter, got some Crisco in there, had to mix it up really well. That was really specified in the ingredients. We want it looking creamy. After this, I add my sugar. That's white sugar, 1 cup, and then brown sugar, 1 cup. And then they said mix even more, like really mix it, like get into it. They want you to mix it well, like no holding back, mix it. Here's my vanilla, 1 tablespoon. Here's my 2 eggs, a magic trick right there. After adding my 2 eggs, you gotta mix it again and use your hands, some chocolate chips, bam, ready for scooping into the cookie tray. Scoop them in, again, more non-stick spray, you don't want it sticking. Put them in the oven for 15 minutes. Kick that oven closed. Thanks to editing, 15 minutes goes by really fast. They're done. Wow, they smell so good. Burnt myself here again. So I think the hardest part about this process was getting them out of the cookie mold, but I eventually got them out after some laborious activities. So now we're gonna go try everything. All right, we got all the cooking done, and now it's time to see if the food actually tastes as good as it looks. To help us out with that, I have my grandparents. They're gonna give us a rating of the food and kind of just explain how it tastes. So let's see what they think. First on our list are the Safari Skewers. These can be found at Adventureland's Bengal Barbecue for around $14 per meal.
I'll go with 8.
8?
I think it's
That's good.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Next we have Jack Jack's Cookie Num Nums. These can be found on Pixar Pier right next to the Incredicoaster at Disneyland's California Adventure. Prices are around $5. What? Go at it as you will.
I think it's
I
good.
like it a lot.
I'm thinking this is probably for dessert, probably a 9.
8 or 9, yeah. It's good. Very good.
Finally, we have Mickey's Frozen Banana. These can be found all throughout the concession carts in the parks and are around $5.75.
It's tasty, but if I was going to order between this and the muffin thing we just had, I would go with the muffin.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I like it.
Well, I don't dislike it, but I think it's probably a 7 or an 8. No, I like the bacon and the asparagus. That was good. It was crispy. It was like 2 separate flavors, but yet it was all together somehow. If I was going to pick 2, I would go with the asparagus bacon, and I would have the little muffin thing for dessert, and I would buy the banana and chocolate thing for her.
Overall, I'm actually really surprised on how things turned out. I am not a cook, and even when I'm given directions, I normally mess things up, but surprisingly, everything turned out as it should. And when comparing it to how the Disneyland comparison actually tasted, it was pretty much identical. I'm really happy on how everything turned out, and maybe you should try it at home too. That's really all I have for this segment, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Adios.
COVID-19 has led to many people finding new ways to keep themselves busy, from cooking food from your favorite Disney parks to even making your own recipes. If you'd like to get your own unofficial Disney cookbook, check out Ashley Craft's The Unofficial Disney Cookbook on Amazon.com. There are many momentous rock and roll moments in history, whether it's Rolling Stones at Almont or attending the first Woodstock in the summer of 1969. Let's take a look at how the lesser-known piece of music history as we explore one of the many stories of the Grateful Dead and the notorious night that would go on to inspire one of the most essential songs called Truckin'.
At the end of 1970, the Grateful Dead, whose lineup at the time consisted of rhythm guitarist and vocalist Bob Weir, Phil Lesh on the 6-string bass, Ron Pigpen McCarran on the organ and vocals, drummers, yes, drummers plural, Mickey Hart and Bill Kreutzmann, Jerry Garcia on vocals and lead guitar, and recently joined Tom Constantine on keys. Lenny Hart, who was the father of drummer Mickey Hart, was the Dead's manager at the time due to his business expertise, which is ironic since his father would go on to steal $150,000 from the band in 1971. It was January 28th when he booked the band to open a brand new venue in New Orleans called The Warehouse. Chicago-based blues group The Flock and the notorious Fleetwood Mac would also join the bill. Thrilled by this opportunity, the band hopped on a flight to New Orleans. Here, the Dead would stay at the Royal Sonesta Hotel at 300 Bourbon Street, which was located just outside the venue. What the band wasn't aware of was that fellow musicians Jefferson Airplane were arrested at the very same hotel while in possession of narcotics just a couple months prior before the Dead got there. Their suspicions should have been on the rise when they landed because a flight attendant gave them the name of an attorney in case anything went south, which isn't a good sign. Not only did this incident occur, but at the hotel, the house detective ran into Jerry Garcia in the lobby. He asked him if he was with the flock, who was opening for them. When Jerry said he was actually with the dead, the detective told him, "Look, you better be clean, because boy, you're gonna be busted." The dead would trust this warning and remain vigilant. They each vowed to play the show, then go home. It was January 31st when they performed at the warehouse, and the show would last until 3 a.m., and the band would return to their rooms as promised. When they got back to the hotel, the first thing the band noticed was that there was an abnormal amount of suits in the lobby. When they got to their floor, they were shocked to discover that each one of their room doors had been opened. The dots started connecting for the band when it was just too late. A police officer called each of the members one by one in their respective rooms. Each room had been turned upside down, and on every bed stood an absolute plethora of drugs, from narcotics all the way to barbiturates. Instantly, the group knew what was up. None of these drugs belonged to them. Having only messed with grass and LSD, they knew it was a setup. However, no matter how hard they tried to plead with the police, they still got arrested. Along with busting the dead, the police got an additional prize, the arrest of Owsley Stanley, aka Bear. Stanley was the dead sound engineer, but to the world, he was the leading provider in LSD. He was considered the king of acid. Some say this was set up just to capture him. What followed was the police abusing their power to teach a bunch of hippies a lesson. They lined each of the members in front of their squad car to take pictures as a trophy, all while yelling rude comments at the band. When they got to jail, they prolonged the booking process as long as possible and made them stay in a cell for 8 hours, even though their bail was ready within an hour of their arrest. 19 total people were arrested, which included the band and the road crew. The only two that managed to escape were Tom and Pigpen. Lenny Hart offered to not only pay bail for the band, but for the crew as well, which ended up costing a whopping $37,500 or $250,000 in today's money. Because of this huge bailout, the dead were now officially out of funds, so they decided to return to the warehouse the next day for a little fundraiser. They played an entire new set after convincing Fleetwood Mac to perform again, and at the end of the show they passed around a top hat for people to donate accordingly, which many people actually did. However, everything wasn't settled. Their future remained uncertain due to pending charges on them. 2 weeks later, a miracle came with the court agreeing to dismiss charges as long as the dead promised to never return to New Orleans. They kept that promise until 1980 when the ban was lifted, but they still saw little time there, for they only played 4 shows in total over the band's lifetime.
As the lyrics say, busted down on Bourbon Street, set up like a bowling pin. Knocked down, it gets to wearing thin. They just won't let you be. Truckin' would have almost have a permanent stay in the band's repertoire, being played over 500 times out of the band's 501 song catalog, which consists of original materials and covers, and it was ranked the 8th most played song at their concerts. Considering the Grateful Dead never played the same set twice, this shows just how monumental that tune is. A farmer's market in Orange seeks to enrich the community and provide it with pesticide-free fruits and vegetables. Working together with local restaurants, vendors, and culinary schools, the farmer markets also aim to get people educated.
In the middle of suburban Orange, California, you'll find a working organic farm. It's part of a mission to get people back into the practice of home gardening.
Welcome to the Education Farm in Old Town Orange. My name is Megan Penn, and I'm the Executive Director and Co-Founder of Orange Homegrown Foundation.
Organic farmers do not use chemical pesticides or herbicides. Instead of chemical fertilizers, green waste is turned to nitrogen-rich compost.
Organic farming techniques are very important to us here at the Education Farm. We compost everything on site, we use it in our soil. So the great thing about this education space is that you get hands-on learning, you get an opportunity to try growing food before you actually do it at home.
The Education Farm was created after the group had been running the Orange Certified Farmers Market on Saturday mornings for 6.5 years. They wanted to give people an opportunity to learn how local farmers in the area grew their food. How can you tell if your vegetables are straight from the farm?
So one way to tell if vegetables are fresh out of the ground versus buying something at the grocery store is that they've got their tops on them still, like carrot tops and beet tops. And those are things that you can reuse also and eat.
What else besides fruits and vegetables are available at the Saturday market?
So our farmers and artisans that come to the market, we have about 45 of those. They make a variety of things from homemade pies and jams, fresh vegan tamales, we've got vegan cheese, salsas. It's a variety of wonderful products as well as local seafood. And then our farmers have grass-fed beef and almonds and seasonal citrus and produce. It's wonderful. You got to come check it out.
Farmers markets in other cities exist one day a week. Orange Homegrown Foundation is unique because they run several food-centered community programs all year long.
One specific program I'd love to highlight is our seed lending library that is a partnership with the Orange Public Library Foundation. Orange Homegrown collects seeds that have been donated. We use some here at the farm and then we put the rest into the seed lending library. Those seeds are then repackaged by volunteers and given out to the community.
Another unique partnership reduces food insecurity in the local community.
Guys, we'll come back around a little bit later on. Any excess food that you don't want to take back with you, we'll grab it and we'll get it over there for you. Thank you.
Mike Lirakis is the executive director of the Waste Not OC Coalition and owner of the Catilla Grill restaurant. They recover perishable foods, freeze them, and distribute them to people in need.
We've partnered with Waste Not OC here in Orange. They will come to the farmers market at the end of the day and then meet with our farmers and artisans, pick up anything that they aren't going to be selling the next day. They bring it back to Catilla Grill where that food is repurposed into some sort of a meal and then packaged and brought out to a lot of our local food pantries.
It's as simple as dropping this bag in boiling water, and in 20 minutes it is a complete nutritious meal in the form of a stew with fresh vegetables. It's just a tremendous product.
Orange Homegrown is a volunteer-driven organization. You can help at the market, the farm, or any of their other programs.
So if you're interested in volunteering at the farm, we are here from 9:30 to 11:30 every Friday. Also, if you want to find more information about our organization, please visit our website at orangehomegrown.org. And we also have a Facebook and Instagram page.
If you would like to get involved with the company and community as well to learn about their other programs pushing issues like food literacy in youth, please visit orangehomegrown.org. And this marks the end of our show. Once again, this is Kevin Perry. Stay safe and sane out there. Thank you guys so much for listening and have an awesome day. Thank you guys. Adios.
Hello and welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful day. From Saddleback Studios, I am your host, Samuel Price. On today's episode of The Scoop, we're going to be presenting to you some very interesting stories about a graffiti artist, an ecologist, a social media influencer, as well as some very entertaining segments about food, a fashion show, and oh my gosh. So let's get started here. Graffiti is a very long-practiced art that could be traced back to cave paintings. Making the mark on the world seems to be a bit of a human obsession, and as graffiti has gone on, the medium has changed and its cultural significance has changed. So let's find out more about graffiti.
When you think about graffiti, what do you see? Do you see murals on walls, small tags in hidden places, or letters written on passing trains? Truthfully, graffiti is an art form, one that can be highly illegal and can result in a fine and community service or years in prison on top of a much heftier fine, but it is still an art form. Artist Gosh has been doing graffiti for several years, only recently joining the local scene. Most of Gosh's art is first done in his backyard, where he tests the different methods he uses before doing a throw-up elsewhere.
I do graffiti because someone told me I couldn't. So I went out and did it, and that was that.
Recently, in Orange County, there was a mass wall buffing. erasing a large amount of the local art. Big cities like LA have always been centers of the craft despite their habit of buffing. This is due to the connotations that come with graffiti, like that areas with graffiti also harbor gang activity and violence. This directly contests with opinions that Gosh has seen within the community.
Graffiti is an expression of free will. So it's someone going out and doing something because they want to, not because they think, I'm breaking the law or I'm fighting the machine. It's always just been people going out and doing what they want when they want. Politicians have always looked at graffiti like some sort of rebellious act. And yeah, it is. But it's not inherently political. People, just want to go do things. And if politicians or the law or people who believe strongly in those two things disagree with it, then it's just, it doesn't matter. There are definitely activists out there, but I don't want to say they're the majority.
There are some areas that allow graffiti, but you're far more likely to come across a tag on the side of a building or on a street sign you pass on the freeway, unless you know where to go. Venice Beach is one such place, where there are several walls to throw up art on. Even the trees are not spared, being awash with color from artists passing through. With the rise of social media, graffiti has become something that can be immortalized, forever encaptured on the screen of a camera and shared to millions of people instantly. This changes the game immensely, as before it was something that was strictly temporary and only seen by those who happen to pass by. Now, with graffiti becoming more and more popular online, the art is preserved, even if the wall is painted or the building itself is destroyed. The art continues to exist online.
I feel like the message doesn't change, even though the internet does change some things. I feel like graffiti is always going to come down to people wanting to do graffiti, going out and doing it.
Graffiti is done for the purpose of getting the attention of those passing by. While it can be done legally, it's also associated with vandalism, punk behavior. This is why it's key when considering why artists would rather do it in dangerous places in the dead of night, overstaying the larger legal alternative like street art. Graffiti becomes more prevalent online. It raises the question of, with new technology advancements, how is graffiti going to integrate them? What is it going to be like? Next, we're going to be introducing you to Samuel, a young British man who is originally from the UK and he's now living here in California. He has a very passionate love for food and how it's put together. He's learning a few new British tricks which he wants to teach you about making scrambled eggs. So, Samuel, take it away. Hello everybody, I'm Samuel and I'm going to be teaching you how to make the perfect scrambled eggs. And there's a lot of myths around scrambled eggs. People have had, we've all had it, the terrible bland scrambled eggs that, Uncle Joe makes and, they're not great and they kind of put you off. But I'm going to teach you, I'm going to redeem that for you. I'm going to show you how to make the perfect scrambled eggs. When I was 16, I went to La Manoir au Quatre Saisons, a French restaurant in Oxford by the very famous Raymond Blanc. And he didn't personally, but his head chef taught me how to make the very perfect scrambled eggs the French way. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's not so difficult, but it does taste absolutely delicious. So let's crack on. Can you scramble the eggs this morning? Yes, you can. Let me show you how to do it. So all you need is 3 eggs. So all 3 of them. One person needs 3 eggs. Don't give them 2 eggs, give them 3 eggs. Handful of cheese, just hand it right there. Give a good dose of it. You need a block of butter, just a little block like this, and you're gonna get whole bread. Whole bread tastes better and it actually is better for you. So get some whole bread. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our eggs. We're gonna crack them, so just put them gently on the side here. Gonna make a nice little crack. I'm just gonna pour it right in there. Now, everybody always has the problem of getting eggshell out of the bowl. Sometimes a little bit gets in there and, everyone's digging around with the spoon. Someone even tries a fork, that guy's there forever. I'll show you the quickest and easiest way to do it. So, I'm gonna put a little bit of eggshell in here. So let's grab a little bit of shell, snap a bit off. Just drop it right in there, okay? So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take just a shell, just get a clean edge like this, okay? And then you're just gonna scoop it right and it's gonna come right in just like that. See how easy that was?
A lot of the problems that people have really bland eggs is actually not that there's so many eggs, it's not the milk. The problem is you overly mix the eggs. So all you want to really do is break them slightly. You want to have the difference between the yolk and the white. That's what gives you difference in flavor. That's what gives you texture. So I'm going to break these eggs right now. And so I'm just going to do just a gentle break, just like that. And that's really all you need. You don't need to break it. You can see how I've got white separated here and I've got the yolk. And that's really the perfect way that you can have your eggs scrambled. Okay, we're gonna put some butter in this pan. We're gonna put this bread in that toaster over there. All right, you can see right here, you see these bubbles just coming up right in the ridge here? This means that your butter is perfectly ready. We're gonna take our beautiful eggs over here and we're just gonna pour them right in. Here we go, just like that. What we're going to do is we're going to push the eggs into the center. So this is the key to make it taste great. So we're going to push it in and just basically continue pushing the eggs into the center. We're going to take it off the heat. Okay, this big handful of this cheese right here. And then we're just going to put it all right in there. And then we're just going to just fold it all the way in. So you can see, because we didn't overly mix all the eggs, you can see the difference here between the yolk and the white. Put a bit of salt and pepper on here. It's all about the texture with the scrambled eggs. If you overcook them, that's why they taste terrible. And so cooking them slightly under, this pan is hot, so they're going to continue cooking. And as we transfer it back over to the plate, when we prep up, it's actually still cooking because the heat is being retained by the eggs. All right, so we're gonna get our beautiful piece of toast. Just smother it, baby. We're gonna take our eggs. Look how delicious those look. Oh, look at that, baby. Look at that. We're gonna take it just with your spatula and just gently just place it right over the middle there. I'm gonna take just a little bit of cheese, just for decoration. Make it look pretty. Put it right over like this. It's probably the best scrambled eggs you're ever gonna have. I'm now gonna taste it. Let's give it a swirly whirl. Look at that, baby. Right there, bit of string wing. Damn, that's good. This is how you do scrambled eggs the right way. People do it all kinds of different ways, you know, put milk in it, put all this. With the French way, there's a proper way of doing it. You see all that texture? See all this lovely goodness here that you see the difference between the egg and the yolk and the cheese? My God, this is how you make it taste amazing. So people, go forth. Make the best scrambled eggs. Make it for your wife. Make it for your fiance. Make it for your mum. Make it for your sister. Just make it, but make it properly. Make it the French way.
Well, who knew such a simple meal could have so many cool and unique tricks to make it taste great? Samuel will continue to cook and explore unique and creative ways to do his own take on recipes. He's also training to be a youth pastor at a local church here in Orange County, City Harvest Church, and hey, maybe he'll even cook for them. Did you know that 27,000 trees are cut down every year to make toilet paper alone? Humanity uses an estimated 80 trillion aluminium cans to make glass every year, and glass is at least 4,000 years to breaking down. That is crazy. Not forgetting that plastic eliminates waste and it's killing animals in the sea every year by the millions. And since the beginning of agriculture, the Earth has lost 50% of its population and over 20% of its animal biodiversity. Guys, things are drastically changing, and if we don't do something soon, we're going to have reached the point of no return. Let's expand our knowledge and see how we can save our beautiful planet.
Hannah Lee is a 21-year-old environmentalist from Lake Forest, California, who is aspiring to be a biologist. She is currently attending Humboldt University from the safety of her home, but hopes to move up there in the summer to continue her career. There are many reasons she's devoted to environmental work, but it was through her education where she got hooked.
So I started taking classes at Saddleback, and my first was ecology. So kind of like learning like the interconnectiveness of like the entire ecosystem. And that's kind of where it sparked that like I knew I wanted to work with animals.
From there, Hannah would go on to take the Natural History of California course, where she would get a more hands-on experience. Here she got the opportunity to take field trips, participate in beach cleanups, plant native trees, and even assist endangered birds by replacing their nest or constructing a raft for extra protection. However, none of this would be possible without the guidance of Professor Barry Narhas.
He's a very well-versed wildlife biologist in the fact that he does everything. So I expressed to him that I was interested in doing what he does. And from there, he invited me to volunteer with him and help him with turtle surveys with the southwestern pond turtle. So I did that for about a month, where I helped him set up all the traps and check all the traps every day. And I just like fell in love. I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. It got me up in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but I could wake up and go do it, which was the best feeling ever.
Hannah's passion and hard work would pay off 1 month later when she would start working at Barry's company, Endemic Environmental Services. There are many activities that Endemic is involved in, one of the biggest being habitat restoration at a park in Costa Mesa. From establishing fencing, plant restoration, to relocating invasive species to their respected habitat. Endemic is also involved in many construction projects where they work directly on site with construction companies to ensure the safety of all living things is secure. As we know, development from humans is one of the leading harm factors to animals, but certainly not the only one.
I guess people always assume pollution is just plastic, within waterways, but pollution is much more extensive than that. For example, when you're just harmlessly washing your car in front of your house and the water is traveling down the drain that says goes to the ocean, it actually travels to creeks, which then lead to the ocean. And within those creeks, there's native wildlife, like the southwestern pond turtle. So yeah, pollution like that can harm and make species die off really easily.
Due to the continuous burden that humans bring to the environment, there is no shortage of work for Hannah and her team at Endemic, whether she's trapping and surveying turtles, obtaining permits, or rehabilitating local habitats. However, in the coming weeks, Hannah will be qualified to begin working on construction sites with her fellow colleagues instead of observing from a distance. This is where she'll be able to put her knowledge to the test and explore new opportunities.
So one thing I hope people learn from my job is that my career is based upon endangered species and protecting just all species in general. So I hope that this brings more awareness to my field, and I hope that people are more just aware of their actions toward the environment and how one small change really does go a long way in helping the environment.
For more information on how you can play a part in the Earth's rehabilitation, along with Hannah's other projects she's going to be working on, please visit the website on the screen. The Ellen magazine is known for hosting celebrity interviews and engaging pop culture. Sophie hosted a local musician to test her knowledge on the Ellen's game and see how much fun it really is. So let's see how she does right here, right now. Check it out.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you?
It's going good. It's going good. So for those who don't know, do you mind introducing yourself?
I'm Charlotte LaRue. I'm 18. I'm the lead singer of the band French Park, and I'm a senior at OSHA.
Okay, Charlotte. So we're gonna play a little fun game, a song association. Have you seen Elle do it?
Oh, I watch this every night.
So I was thinking we can do a version of our own if that's totally cool.
Yeah, I'm so down.
Okay.
Does the word have to be in the title of the song or just in general in the song?
In general in the song. It doesn't have to be the title. Okay, your first word is sky.
Blue sky smiling at me. Nothing but blue skies do I see.
So what can we expect from the upcoming French Park EP?
So we have 5 songs, and a cool fact about each one is that the 5 songs, so one of them we wrote all together. And then the other 4, I wrote one, the guitarist wrote one, the bassist wrote one, and the drummer wrote one. One of them is an instrumental, the bassist.
Okay.
And it's really, really cool. If you like stuff like Wolfpack or that kind of stuff, you'll really like it.
You ready for your second word? Your word is see.
I see trees of green, clad roses blue. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I don't know why I chose such a high key, but...
That was great. No, bravo. Your third one is cry.
I know Crimea River, but I don't know like how it goes. I need to redeem myself.
Okay, you can do it. I believe in you. The fourth one, okay? Unfortunate.
For unfortunate souls, so fresh, so green. Yeah, from The Little Mermaid. I've always had like a soft spot for Disneyland. It's just kind of, it's been that thing in my life where no matter what's going on, you know, I can just go there. And I grew up singing like, wandering free, wish I could be part of that world. That's like one of the first songs I learned how to sing. So Disney's just always had like a big spot in my heart.
Okay, are you ready for your fifth word?
Yes,
okay.
I think so.
Swift.
Wow. Taylor Swift. I don't know.
The new French Park original, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. Coming soon. Wow, that was a really good one.
Ready? Are you ready for your last word? Okay.
I think so.
Can't.
I can't stand losing. I can't stand losing you. I can't stand losing you, the police.
Heck yeah. Charlotte?
I did it. I missed.
Freaking killed it. Is there anything else you want to say? You got your EP coming out.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that, all streaming platforms. I'll be posting about it too.
Sounds good. Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Bye.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.
As the number of COVID-19 cases begins to decrease, the music industry is looking forward to going back to gigs once again. I don't blame them. Charlotte and her band, French Park, is also getting back on track, and they're going to be starting to gig as well. So their EP is set to drop this summer. More information can be found on their Instagram and on the French Park website. Nowadays, social media can change lives for better and also sometimes for worse. Meet Chase Keith. He's an 18-year-old social media star who is going to tell you his story behind being an influencer.
Social media, for most of us, is a big part of our lives. We've heard all about the negatives, the stress, the judgment, and the replacement of reality with the superficial photoshopped wonderland. But what about the ones who actually live these lives? As the number of influencers is as high as ever, what does their side look like? Meet Chase Keith, a Southern Orange County influencer who gets the full influencer treatment. How are you doing, Chase?
Hey, could be better, Kevin, Mr. Perry, but we're all here.
All right, I'm gonna start off. When did you start social media? Like, what was the beginning like?
So I started social media roughly 6 years ago. I was living in Ohio at the time. Yeah, so basically, me and my friends were like a really wacky, goofy friend group. We just always like tried to make movies and stuff and like recreate funny scenes from SNL.
When did you realize that like social media is not like it seems? It's not like glitter and glamour. There are like dark parts. When did you realize that?
Honestly, I realized it wasn't all that when I started to like meet these people, and then I would see, I guess, what was happening behind the scenes, and not everything was just like them being like rich, them being like, oh my god, look at all like my fancy cars.
From personal experience, I know it can be kind of hard like having followers and going to school. What was that like for you? What was your experience?
Musically, at the time, like a while ago, had like a really bad reputation, and if you did Musically, you were considered like weird. So I was doing Musically at an all-guys Catholic high school, and yeah, it was really rough. People would like bully me, make fun of me. At lunch and stuff, I had people throwing food at me. I had somebody in class print out like a couple hundred copies of a screenshot of a video that I made, and they said, I'm a F-word, like the homophobics, or like I'm a F-word, like nobody likes me, and handed out to the entire class. And I was walking with a couple other influencers in California a while ago, and I had somebody be like, F you guys, and like throw like a whole like Slurpee on us.
Has that affected you in a way, like with either like stress, anxiety, maybe even depression? What's the mental side of things?
Yeah, it definitely takes like a mental toll on you, because you're honestly just like put on the spotlight 24/7, and it's definitely difficult to deal with, because you really don't have room to make a mistake. Yeah, I've definitely had some bad moments. People not treating me as like a human and like as and more of just like an object. Yeah, it's still a job, and you have to have like the mental capacity to do it. And it's definitely a lot deeper than everybody thinks. I'd say the number one thing is just like the mental battle, because some people can't handle it mentally and they end up quitting social media because of it. I've like seen so many people fall like into depression because of social media, because of how like rigged the algorithm is, and it's just like it's definitely a lot deeper than people think.
In conclusion, being an influencer is still being human. Although I can't speak for everyone, me and Chase go through the same thing that everybody else does. What makes the situation different, in my opinion, is that we're under a lot more stress and many more eyes are always on us at all times, so we feel that we have to conform sometimes, and it's really hard to be yourself. I feel like this side of social media isn't really ever shown because you always want to look at the bright and the happy when really there's a lot more going on both sides.
To support Chase, you can check him out on social media. His platform username is Chaser. Remember that there's always a real person behind the screen, so guys, please be patient and kind on the internet. The dolly look is a style popularized in Japan that could also be inspired by the Californian brand Dolly Light. They created their very own fashion show, which we want you to check out now. Enjoy.
Do these flowers suit my dress? What about these? Oh, I'm so excited for the ball tonight.
Oh, you look amazing. I'm so excited we get to go in our new dresses too. Let's dance our heart outs tonight, okay? Don't you two look lovely? I wish I could go, but I don't have a dress. Oh, we wish you could go too.
But for now, we must be leaving. We will see you soon, though. Don't be sad, darling one. I know you dream of dancing in a delightful dress, and I have just the one for you. But first, hand me that music box.
Here it is. What shall I do next?
Now close your eyes and dream while you listen to the music.
What a wonderful performance by an acting class of amazing students. For more information, you can visit the Dolly Light page on Facebook at Dolly Light Page. Well, that wraps it up on The Scoop here today on Channel 39. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. From Saddleback Studios, I'm your host, Samuel Price. Enjoy your night.